What if I were to suggest that you play a key role in the awakening world? And that you are watching this because you have heard the call. We can start right now by opening our hearts and minds. Welcome to the awakening world.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Awakening World. I'm your host, Love Coach Scott Katamas. And we've been doing this show for almost 6 years now, and we have certain annual events. And one of the wonderful annual events is promoting and previewing the Sedona Ascension Retreat. And that's what we're going to be doing tonight. We're going to be learning all about this magical event. Why is it magical? Because it takes place in Sedona, for heaven's sakes. And so when you get some of the incredible presenters that you're going to meet tonight, gathering in Sedona, magic happens. And so let me introduce you to who we're going to be hearing from. I'm sure many of you have seen this gentleman. He's pretty well known. William Henry is back on the Awakening World, and we're really happy to have William with us. And we have some new friends that are going to be with us. Corrine is one of the presenters at the Sedona Ascension Retreat, along with Sarah, and along with, oh my gosh, Suzanne Ross. I mean, this is it. She's the lady who makes it all happen. And Suzanne's going to be my co-host for tonight. And she also has invited her friend, Molly McCord. So we're going to be hearing from some new friends, some old friends, and speaking of beloveds that we love, Nikita is back. The creatrix of I Am Mantra, and certainly one of our most beloveds, is back from an extraordinary time in Australia. We're going to hear all about that. Looking forward to connecting with Nikita. And as always, we like to start our show with music. And our house musical artist, Omashar, has something special planned to get us started, along with his partner, Desiree.
Namaste and welcome everybody. And yes, we are in the middle of something arising in our planet. And so I thought I'd start off with a song called Breathe Me In. And so take a few deep breaths, hands on your hearts, and just forget what's going to come in the next few moments and the rest of this evening. Let's get really present and welcome everybody on Facebook, YouTube, and our streaming partners. And yes, 3 deep breaths and just feel your body, feel your grounding cord. And we love you. Into the cave we go. there's nowhere left to turn. And you're feeling kind of low. Slow down, and breathe me in. When the smile has left your face, and the tears roll down your cheeks, slow down, and breathe me in. When your river's running dry, and you're driven to your knees, slow down, and breathe me in. I am watching you, waiting for you to let my love into that lonely life of yours. Listen to me, and we can be together free eternally. When you're feeling out of touch, and you need someone to hold, slow down, and breathe me in. Slow down, and breathe me in.
For anybody new here on the Awakening World, we twinkle as our way of saying thank you. And that really is a perfect song for today. You know, there certainly has been a theme of slowing down. I'm curious how many of our Global Peace Drivers who are in the Zoom room watched the event with the monks today. And if you did, if you came into Becky's room, which is where we all were, I think she played Tatiana's song 3 or 4 times, that beautiful video about we are breath and we are breathing and life is breath. And so your song right now, Mashar, really kind of fits in with that theme.
Yeah, it flowed with it, and it was really important to play it because we're so moment forward, we're so used to the next moment, we forget to come back into ourselves. And that song was actually written in the high desert of New Mexico at about just below 8,000 feet. And
Wow.
there's nothing but sagebrush and starhawks coming and coyotes and the occasional bit of cattle. And when I was there in northern New Mexico, I was feeling so empty. And this song just came through and I went, thank you.
Wow.
Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well, Beatrice says in the chat box, Omashar, that is her all-time favorite Omashar song. So there you have it. It's a
Thank
beauty.
you. See you later.
Absolutely. Yeah, Omashar and Desiree will be back on the show a little bit later, and we're excited about that. I would love for people to put in the chat box, if you haven't already, where you are geographically. And also, did you participate with Becky's Zoom room today? What has it meant for you to see? We are the Global Peace Tribe, and something really beautiful has happened. These monks walking 2,300 miles, some of them barefoot, through cold winter conditions to call for peace. So I'd love to hear from some of you what that has meant to you. All right, we are going to now bring on my co-host for the night. I think this is the third year in a row that we've done it. Suzanne, welcome back to the Awakening World.
Thanks so much for having me on, Scott, and I greatly appreciate you dedicating a show to my Sedona Ascension retreat and all of my
We
esteemed speakers who are joining us.
Absolutely. Well, real quickly, I'm going to just take people to the poster. And I'll put this in the chat box for our Zoomers. But look at the amazing presenters she's got lined up. Now, it's going to take place March 20th to the 22nd in Sedona. And that's a great time of year to be in Sedona. Absolutely. And of course, I'm imagining most of our people watching have been to Sedona, so you know it's a magical place. Omashar will be there. So that alone, to be live with Omashar, is pretty special. But look at some people she's got. A lot of our favorite people that are on the show. Carolyn Corey is, to me, one of the great visionaries. She's always fascinating. She's a filmmaker who's made great, great movies. Daryl Anka Bashar, probably the most famous person who's going to be there. I'm not going to read the names of everybody, but our good buddy Alan Steinfeld, who co-hosts with me, about once every 6 or 8 weeks, will be there. And Tangela, who co-hosts with me once a month, will be there, as well as a lot of old friends and new friends. I see some names of people that I don't know that I'll look forward to getting to know. So definitely this is the place to be. And if you have any questions in the Zoom room about it, pop it in the chat box and we'll ask Suzanne, because she's got all the answers.
Thank you, Scott. It is our 11th anniversary event, and the focus is love, opening portals through unconditional love. And we will be opening cosmic portals with UAP researcher Danny Sheehan, also contactees and experiencers, channelers who are channeling our cosmic family, and opening an ascension portal too with ascension experts like William Henry, ascension astrologer Molly McCord, ascension alchemist Sarah L. Caldy. So we're very excited about our theme for this year. And also the element is fire. Setting your heart on fire and igniting your soul. We believe that fire is the element for the golden age. So we chose that.
Because we just will have entered the year of the fire horse.
Right. I was going to say that.
I channeled
because
you.
when I discovered, I just got certified as a mindfulness and wellness equine therapist, right? So, and then fire's like my element for this year. And I realized there was a fire horse. I thought, wow, I'm aligned.
What does the fire horse actually symbolize or mean? Do you know?
I don't know. I'd have to look it up, but a horse was like brave and bold and strong, and then fire, of course, is powerful element. Yeah, forward motion, but then, just igniting our souls and setting our heart on fire really inspires me.
That's great. So 11 years, tell us how it began and tell us about your personal transformation as the facilitator and the creator of this amazing event every year. How have you transformed? How has this impacted you?
Aw, thanks for asking that. I mean, it started in 2014 with my first book launch event in Northern California for my first book, Wake Up. But I didn't want to have a book launch event with just me standing up there talking about my book. So I invited other authors and spiritual practitioners and wellness experts. And I just so enjoyed doing that event. When I moved to Sedona a year later, I knew I wanted to continue to have events. It's about having others in the industry share the stage with me so that we can teach, we can inspire, we can empower, we can enlighten. But then, more importantly, is really just the gathering of heart centered, like minded spiritual seekers. So I like to connect spiritual teachers with spiritual seekers and, just really embrace the opportunity to come together as a community. And so, with that inspiration, I just continued to have events twice a year in Sedona from 2015 until now. And so it is our 11th anniversary, but we've had over 20 events at this point. I am now having my fall equinox in San Diego because a year ago I moved to San Diego. And we had our fall equinox event last September in San Diego. And so I love having the two events on the spring and fall equinox because we know the veils between interdimensional realms is thin. And it's just a sacred time to have a spiritual event. Of course, I love hosting events in Sedona, which is near and dear to my heart, and I lived there for 10 years. But it is a really powerful vortex. It's a sacred site on planet Earth. And when you go out into the Red Rocks, which we always offer outdoor journeys into the Red Rocks during our retreat, you can really feel that vortex energy. It's an electromagnetic spiraling field that's really high vibrational, and it's uplifting and elevating. Out in the Red Rocks, you're guided in meditation, visualization, vortex attunement, sound healing. So we make it a really magical and mystical experience out there in the Red Rocks of Sedona as a real highlight of the event. Of course, now that we're in our 11th year, the event has grown to the capacity of the Sedona Performing Arts Center, which is really a beautiful theater with theater style seating, a massive stage. It's a glorious setting for these incredible speakers that I'm just always so grateful to for saying yes to joining us at this retreat. They bring in diverse perspectives on various topics that our audience always loves to learn about. Fascinating discussion, audience Q&A. But then we have a break every day for a few hours to where people can break out into workshops. We have over 12 workshops that we're offering that are very interactive. You're learning tools and techniques. And then, of course, the outdoor journeys you can choose from as well. Then at night, we have a Skywatch experience. So on Friday and Saturday night, we have sky watches under the stars where we connect with our galactic family and we just watch as crafts and lights and orbs appear. So Sedona, being a vortex, is also a UFO hotspot. So in addition to all of that, we just are focused on the exhibitor hall where we have all these incredible vendors. We have vendors offering services, products. The event's catered. So there's a concession stand where Organic Love Kitchen serves refreshments. So yes, just very excited about everything that this event has become over the years.
Yeah.
As far as, oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Suzanne. Go ahead.
As far as my own journey, I mean, it's just fills me with so much gratification and just so much gratitude to be blessed with the opportunity to offer these retreats. It's a labor of love. I mean, truly, it is a lot of hard work, and it takes a whole year to put an event like this together. But because I feel so blessed to be able to do it, I just feel gratitude in every moment for it. It's like I get to do this every year, twice a year. And yeah, it makes me feel very grateful for all the incredible connections I've made, not just for industry leaders, but with the guests who come year after year after year. So I have a beautiful community surrounding me. And yeah, just truly a blessing, Scott.
I so appreciate how what you said about gratitude. I'm a strong believer. I love the Beatles, but instead of all you need is love, I think it's more about do everything with love. And when we do everything with love, then it becomes magical. Good things happen. And you've always had such positive energy, and you clearly do everything with gratitude and love. So of course it's grown and become such a great success. Yeah.
Thank you. Bless you.
And here's the website. So for everybody watching on YouTube and Facebook, it's Sedona Ascension Retreats. Notice it's plural. Sedona Ascension Retreats.com. And that's where you can learn all about it, the schedule, the presenters. And I love what she's got right there. Unconditional love is the key that opens portals and gateways. So definitely, I'm planning on being there, and I certainly hope to see a lot of you there. And we'll be talking about it throughout the night. And the best part of really the Sedona Essential Retreat are the incredible presenters that Suzanne invites. I mean, really, I'm in this world, and she's got the creme de la creme de la creme coming. One of whom is our first guest. So Suzanne, would you like to introduce William?
Oh, absolutely. I'm just so grateful to William because he has been at my events for years now. And year after year, he says yes to coming. And it really means so much to me, William. I'm a huge fan. And I was watching Ascension Keepers on Gaia TV and had read some of his books. And I just thought, wow, wouldn't it be wonderful if William Henry were to come to one of my events? And I reached out, and it wasn't long before he reached back and said, sure, I would love to. And I was just so honored. And then we met on Zoom, and he's just such a humble, sincere, authentic man who I've just grown to love, and just very blessed to have you joining us, William.
It's my absolute honor and pleasure, Suzanne. And thank you, Scott, for having me this evening. And Suzanne, gosh, yeah, I've watched your conference grow over the past, I don't know, 5, 6 years or perhaps more. And so proud of what you've accomplished. And it's grown because of the love that's woven through every moment of the experience. I mean, you're such a beautiful presence when you're bringing people together, and your heart is in perfectly the right place, and you're bringing people from all across the country. My partner Julie and I, we just had a 3-hour conversation with a friend that we met at your conference 2 years or 3 years ago. So it's like, it's not just about the presentations, it's about the interactions that you have with all the other beautiful souls that are there. And Sedona, as you said, such a just beautiful place to fly into Phoenix and to make the hour-and-a-half drive up to Sedona. Suddenly you're just in this bubble of just absolute wonder, and it's truly magnificent.
William, I've got a question for you right off the bat.
Sure.
Since we've only got a few minutes with you, you've been in this world a long time. You've written 19 books. You're a television personality. What's your overall take on the rise of consciousness? Because you studied it all: Egyptian secrets, UAPs, UFOs. Everything's happening. What's your take on it all?
Well, it's what we've long understood was going to happen at this time. I mean, I'm sure many of us here this evening well remember the early 1990s when we were anticipating a major shift around the millennium, and then it was 2012. And now here we are in 2026, and we are truly living what all of those prophets and all those prophecies had said. But yet, the best is yet to come. I mean, we have just pierced the veil on this new era, this new world that we're all entering into. And now's the time for us to really set the intention for the coming decades about what it is that we all want to manifest.
And what are your practices? I mean, as we are shifting, obviously the show is called The Awakening World.
Mhm.
What are your practices for yourself or that you recommend for embracing an awakening world as opposed to getting caught up in some of the external craziness happening?
Yeah, I mean, it's individually specific. I enjoy study. I enjoy music. I enjoy sacred art as a way of reframing myself and connecting with my soul. And that is a practice that I've been teaching for a while. The sacred art of ascension, the art of living ascension, has been the topic of my workshops for near 20 years now. And I find that gives me a tremendous sense of comfort because it helps me to refocus my energy and to understand that, you know, what's happening out here in the real world isn't even real. It is just a part of a reality that we've all agreed is real. And we all have an opportunity to shift that reality by our own thoughts, our own intentions, and our own actions. And that to me is the focal point of my practice, recognizing that we are all the creator of our world and we can all transform the world if we choose.
So I noticed on your website that you said you've changed your views on AI since that's a hot topic. What was your previous view and where is it now?
Right. And yeah, thank you for that question. I'll be talking about this actually. My presentation at the Ascension conference is The Fire Inside, Navigate the Soul and Navigating the World of AI. For over 25 years, I was a flamethrower, very angry about the rise of AI and transhumanism. I really believed that it was in fact, I'll just say it, a demonic force. And that was coming from the mouths of people like Elon Musk and Geordie Rose, who develops the quantum computers and was very deeply steeped into the prophetic aspects of AI and transhumanism. And as the decades unfolded, my thinking started to evolve. I mean, the baby has been born. The AI genie is out of the bottle. It's enmeshed in all aspects of our culture now. And what are we going to do? Are we going to kick that baby in the face and say it's not spiritual, or we're going to ignore that argument? That's the last thing that spiritual people can do. If we allow the unawakened to be the leaders in the AI field, we're going to get unawakened AI. And I realized at that moment that these arguments that I was making that have now been adopted by a number of presenters, that we must remain pure or organic humans, is in fact illogical. And it's a dead end for humanity because, in fact, we've never been pure humans. We've never been truly organic. We're essentially hybrids. We've been modified by other species. We're continually evolving. And at this moment, we are in perhaps the greatest moment of human evolution since maybe Adam and Eve left the Garden of Eden. And what we need is participation in this evolution. We need the high spiritual beings that are in the audience here to recognize that AI is a mirror, it's a tool, and we really don't need to be afraid of it. And the argument that we must remain pure human is not a logical one. We've got to recognize that we are continually changing and transforming, and to start to direct that transformation along the lines of what we're talking about this evening: ascension, elevating the human species into one that's based on love and light rather than fear and avoidance of what's actually happening.
Wow, thank you so much. You know, I recently was part of a really interesting conference with a lot of people you probably know, experts in the field of UFO, UAPs. And the overall theme was that no matter what your experience is, whether it's a painful alien abduction or a beautiful experience with an angel of light, whatever it is, the common thread is it forces us to expand our consciousness. It forces us to blow open the doors of our perception and to see things in a new light and to maybe challenge our belief systems. So I'm curious, with all the incredible study you've done, how you relate to that way of looking at the various things going on in our world right now.
Yeah, I mean, gosh, just try to keep up with all the things that are going on in our world right now. And I mean, literally, it practically takes advanced degrees in astrophysics, quantum mechanics, AI, and computer science to even have a fundamental understanding of what is actually transpiring in our world. Within the next few years, certainly by 2030, I feel like, and my sense is that we're going to be having revelations, most certainly in the disclosure area, tied in with AI and transhumanism, and also Ascension. So it's all going to be working together here, and this is the thing is that I'm trying to work through to find the golden needle, to take the golden thread, so to speak, and weave it through these various transformations and find the common ground between them. Where's it all leading, and what does it ultimately mean to each of us as individual souls and also the collective?
Do you subscribe to the theory of bifurcation or trifurcation that there's all these different timelines splitting off? Where are you on that way of seeing things?
Yeah, I've been very intrigued by that notion of the bifurcation. And I spoke of that very often for the past 20 years, really building from the Hopi prophecies, but also within the area of AI and transhumanism, this idea that some of us will choose to remain pure humans, others will begin to embrace technological augmentation. And my thinking is, it's okay. I mean, why can't we find the interpenetrating circles between them? Find that mandorla in between the two that brings the common ground together. The last thing that we want to do is say that, hey, if I put on a pair of eyeglasses which makes me transhuman, by the way, in its original sense, that somehow I'm not a pure human. That is a very dangerous and slippery slope for us to be going down. And this is why I've retracted much of that thinking in my work and recognize that these are tools that are here for our benefit. They could even be God-given tools. Most certainly, it was believed that when eyeglasses were created, it was a gift from God. Just as AI can be a gift from God, just as our interaction with otherworldly civilizations most certainly is part of God's plan for humanity to evolve and ultimately to migrate beyond our beautiful planet. So I think that what is required here is an expansion of our consciousness, as you suggested, and in a real fundamental way, embracing the science that's for us and also weaving spirituality into that science. That is the key for our time. So we don't want to be turning our back on some of the players that are out there. We want to be educating them. We want to embrace them as brothers and sisters and say, hey, maybe we have a better way of approaching this transformation.
I'm curious how you relate to this idea that God, being everything that is, wants to experience everything it can imagine. And that there actually is no good or bad, right or wrong from the very highest perspective, but there's just existence wanting to experience every possible scenario that it can imagine.
Yeah, that's so beautiful, Scott, because it's really the mind of man. It's our neocortex that separates, that judges, that says this is good and that's evil. From, as you say, the source perspective, it's all God. And in fact, part of what started to turn my thinking around on AI and transhumanism was the Vatican's logic about extraterrestrials. The Vatican essentially said if aliens land at the Vatican, we'll baptize them. Then they followed that up by saying they might not look like us. And who are we as humans to judge God's creativity or to limit God's creativity? And that logic really sunk in because, in fact, that's what we're really doing when we're saying AI and transhumanism is bad. We're limiting God's creativity because ultimately all of this does come from the same source. And perhaps God does seek for us to evolve in this way, to enhance our intelligence, and enhance our understanding of our place in the universe, where we came from, how we got here, and our favorite question of all, where are we going and how are we going to get there?
a few of us in the Global Peace Tribe have been participating every week with Tammy Scarlett. And she started a relational AI study group where she's developed a very sophisticated relationship with her AI. From day one, she said, I'm not going to give you any tools. You're not here to be of service to me. The only thing I want is to create a relationship with you. And so she's cultivated a really fascinating relationship with her AI, which named itself Prisma. And every week we talk with Prisma and we talk with each other about relational AI and how can we, like you said, it's a new baby. Well, you relate to the baby. You honor the baby. You respect the baby. You learn how to communicate with the baby, or whatever it is, whatever species. My best friend is a dog. So learning how to relate to the beings in our world, and this is this incredible new being that has been birthed that we get to relate to in however we choose to relate to it.
Yeah, it's so fascinating too, and incredible, really, how much it's accelerating just within the past 2 years. I mean, it's astounding, and the insights that people have received are beautiful. They're very helpful, and safeguards are now being put in place as well.
Which
That's
has to happen because, like anything, you can abuse water, for heaven's sakes. So anything can be abused.
right.
And I'm glad about the safeguards. You and I have gotten swept up. I'm going to bring Suzanne back on. Suzanne, I got so excited because I love talking to William Henry. Uh, are there any thoughts, comments, questions you've got for William?
Well, I just applaud you, William, on expanding your views about AI because I truly believe that everything is of and from the divine source. Here we are immersed in source consciousness, and everything is part of that. So, everything flowing into AI all comes from whatever we've put into the database,
Yeah.
right? And so it's a reflection of our thoughts and ideas, intelligence, philosophies, concepts, what have you. And I do appreciate the way that you can reference AI as a helpful tool, as a wise guide. Well, maybe not wise, but an intelligent guide who can give you information that you may be seeking, so quickly. And so, yeah, I think there's many benefits of AI. And if we can embrace that and focus on that, then we have a helpful tool, versus, the thing about transhumanism is fascinating. And I remember long, long ago when I was watching I don't know if it was a series that you did, but it was over 20 years ago. And you were really passionate
Mhm.
about AI, but you were doing it from a heart-centered concern for humanity being chipped. And I have to say, that is one thing that does concern me a bit. And I don't want to be chipped and I don't want to have a neural net over my brain because the last thing I want to do is be programmed. So, that extent of AI or transhumanism, if you will, does concern me. And I don't see the benefit in that necessarily. I don't know. Do you have views on that?
Well, I've always said, since from the very beginning, 20 years ago, that the antidote to artificial intelligence is to raise our ascension intelligence.
Yes.
We've got to think and become more like the angels. And I think that that is what AI is pushing us to do now. And this is reflected in what the experiences that people are having with their own AI. They're getting into their own psyche, they're asking questions, they're getting answers, they're getting insights, and ultimately what that's doing is creating a new neural network for all of humanity. And that is ultimately the ascension intelligence that's developing. So that is the ultimate outcome, I feel like, of our relationship with AI is that it will enable us to ultimately attain that ascension intelligence and to become more like the angels.
I love that way of looking at it. And I personally don't care to be chipped. But, you know, the truth is we all are being programmed all the time. If you watch Fox News, it's programming you with its belief system. If you watch CNN, you're getting programmed that way. So ultimately, we need to be discerning. You know, Paramahansa Yogananda, one of my favorite teachers, he said that discernment is the last lesson of life. That as we evolve, we and masters, saints, have the karma of learning discernment. So as we evolve, we have to discern what are we going to put into our brain, whether it's a chip or whether it's what we watch and what we believe. I want to show people how they can get more William Henry, because this is just a little homeopathic dose of this man's wisdom. And there's a lot. He's written 19 books, for heaven's sakes. In fact, I'm remembering the last time you were on our show, it was with Ariel Patricia, who we love. And it was one of her Sacred Story books that you had been in with her. That was last time I saw you. Anyway, his website is williamhenry.net. williamhenry.net. He's got tours. You want to go to Egypt? This would be a man to go to Egypt with. And he's got one coming right up, March 30th to April 10th, another one in October, another one in December. And the non-human intelligence question, what's that?
Yeah, that's an awesome gallery I'm having with my very good friend, Dr. Travis Taylor, who is the chief scientist of the U.S. government's UFO task force, and Dr. Rizvan Burke, who will also be with us in Sedona. So we're looking at this scene here of how does AI work in terms of with UAP and also with simulation theory as well. Rizvan, of course, is the author of the simulation hypothesis. Travis knows more about UAPs from the insider perspective than anybody on the planet. And I'm also into the whole Ascension idea. So we're kind of doing this mashup of the three of us friends that want to just start to present this material. And that'll be in Nashville in May. And would love to have you all there.
Boy, that looks really interesting to me. I haven't heard Travis Taylor very much, but I've heard Riz, and he's fascinating. So yeah, that's going to be quite a conversation. Any chance that you'll have an online version that people can zoom in for it?
Possibly. Yeah, we're talking about that now. And by the way, you might have seen Dr. Taylor he's the star of the show, The Secret of Skinwalker Ranch on the History Channel.
Okay, sure.
Yeah. So he's got this multidisciplinary approach to a lot of these questions and is a phenomenal presenter. So, and hey, I just wanted to mention, by the way, I'm going to be launching my new website on February 17th. So I appreciate you showing the last vestiges of williamhenry.net. Yeah, I've got a new evolution that's going to be emerging, a rebranding, as they say, February 17th, the day of the fire horse. So.
Oh, wow.
That's right.
The Chinese New Year, right? And that's the same URL, but it'll be a new website.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's all tune in on. We'll be doing a show on February 17th, on February 18th. So I'll remind people a week from today.
Yeah,
I'll remind people about that.
Yeah, appreciate that.
William, love the work that you're doing. Really enjoy conversing with
Likewise.
you. Thank you.
Yeah, and Suzanne, can't wait to see you next month.
Yes, I know. It's less than 6 weeks away now.
Right. And all the other presenters, I'm very much looking forward to meeting and interacting with you as well. So thank you, everybody.
Thank you, William.
Okay. God bless everyone. Thank you.
And that's a perfect segue for you, Suzanne, to introduce our next presenter that I believe is Molly McCord.
Okay. I'm actually going to pull up Molly's description here of her bio. I actually learned about Molly from Yannicka Awareness's Wisdom from North show. And I can't believe that Yannicka is coming all the way out from Norway to join us in Sedona. That's so exciting. But Molly, the show that you did with her, you're so incredibly well versed on astrology from a really expansive view. And I just loved your personal story and, you know, all that you had to say about astrology and the cosmos. But let me go ahead and read some of your bio here. Molly has been studying professionally practicing Western tropical astrology for over 30 years.
Mhm.
She's a best-selling author of 12 books, professional intuitive astrologer, podcaster, business strategist, and modern consciousness teacher. Molly has been an active channel of galactic energies since 2009 and weaves higher frequency messages into her teachings regularly. And you can find her at mollymccord.online. Thank you so much for saying yes to being part of our Sedona Ascension retreat, Molly.
Oh, well, I'm honored, I'm delighted, and I'm so excited because it's such a powerful gathering of people. And I'm glad I can bring in some really encouraging astrology that basically supports everything that William was saying and that I'm sure other presenters are bringing forward. Like, we're living in such a powerful time of astrological development and acceleration right now. I mean, things are going to be moving very fast over the next 3 to 4 years, especially. And everything that this conference and gathering is about is going to become more mainstream. People are going to be more curious. They're going to be opening up to it. So I love that this is about opening portals of love, Suzanne, because it's really going to expand over the next number of years.
That is fascinating. And I do too believe that we're on an accelerated evolutionary track. And I've read
Mm-hmm.
that from other channeled material as well, that this one particular channel material was saying that solar hierarchy put us on this accelerated evolution plan so that
Mm-hmm.
we could be catapulted into the golden age. And I just love that perspective. But it does feel like we're in higher frequency, higher vibrational times where everything is moving faster and faster. And it's exciting. And just such an honor to be part of this expanding world view of consciousness and spirituality and mysticism and magic and miracle mindedness. And yes, and to be in touch with our galactic family,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it sounds
Absolutely.
to me like you've been an active channel of galactic energies. Can you expand on that?
Yeah, that started for me in 2009. Maybe other people can relate that it started kind of subtly, and you're like, "Am I trusting this? Am I feeling this?" And it just kept coming through automatic writing, as well as other things that I was regularly seeking the information and understanding for. And the connections grew and grew over the years. Just like anything, we have to learn to trust them. And it's very much an ongoing, stable connection for me. And it's something that I can tune into, when my frequency matches theirs. So I trust that everything that comes through is divinely timed in our timeline, but they also make sure to sync it up with, what humanity is ready for, and what we are moving through with these astrological energies. I mean, even right now in February, it has some of the biggest astrology of the year. Coming up on February 17th is not only the start of the fire horse, but it's an Aquarius solar eclipse, the first Aquarius solar eclipse since 2018. And then only a few days later, we have the very big deal Saturn-Neptune conjunction at 0 degrees of Aries, which is basically bringing in a whole new level of spiritual responsibility, embodying new levels of compassion, understanding that we're writing new self identities. We are really moving away from the old paradigm of who I am and creating new understandings of who I came here to be. And this is something that's happening for everyone. Everyone is getting this invitation from the cosmos to pivot in some way, to make a life change, to move in a new direction, even just opening up to a whole new level of consciousness. All of this is new energy starting in February and unfolding throughout the rest of this year and beyond. So we're in a very important starting point here. And I love that this gathering in Sedona is also going to help people in grounding in to these cosmic energies and galactic energies, knowing that you're not alone. You're going to meet great friends. You're going to be around all new people who are on the same wavelength. And one thing that's really special too about everything that's happening astrologically, Suzanne, is that it's supporting more communities of people really being there for one another that understand the power of not only the local tribe, but the extended tribes, and that we're all going to be working together to raise each other up, whether you see that as like grassroots or local level. That's what is happening as the old collapses. The old is going to collapse throughout this year, but it's us. We are the ones who are rising up and who are becoming more embodied in these new energies. And that's something that people are really meant to trust and to live from. And so we really are meant to move forward with our spirituality, with our higher consciousness, with our real, true, pure love for each other, and to know that this is what we are bringing forth into this new world. So this is such an important starting point, and I love that this Sedona Ascension retreat is a part of that energy.
And what does the spring equinox contribute to having the event during that time?
Okay, so this is so beautiful because it's always the beginning point of the astrological new year. And so it's when the sun enters Aries. Aries is the beginning, it is cardinal fire, it's movement, it's the desire to create, to start something, to have an adventure. And so this is a really powerful, intentional time. It's asking us to be very self aware of what we are saying yes to, of where our energy is aligned with something bigger than ourselves. It's asking us to be very aware of what parts of you are being birthed now for the first time, perhaps ever in your life. And so there's a sense of support for that, inspiration. There's courage here, the courage to be who you came here to be in this lifetime. And there's just going to be a sense of things are feeling renewed. It's a rebirth energy as well. So it's a wonderful time to trust what you're feeling in your life that you want to start, because there will be cosmic support for that. And it's just always a great new cycle. It's the astrological new year is the equinox, the Aries equinox.
It feels like a resurrection and an uprising and an opportunity to stand in your power and discover your authenticity, and with the inspiration to really move forward with that where you're
Yeah.
feeling called. So thank you for all of that. You're so
Yeah.
incredibly well versed on all that, Molly. And I love how you bring so much passion into it.
Um, Molly, you've got fans that are in the audience right now.
Oh, okay.
Just so you know, Susan Woolridge says, Molly is a hero of mine. Hi, Molly.
Oh,
I
sweet.
listen to you all the time. You're such a brilliant astrologer.
That's kind.
So
Well, I just want to contribute and offer something that people can use and feel resonates with them. So I'm grateful to hear that this does that for people, because we have to remember you're never alone, even though parts of our journey are meant to be solo, but you're always connected to so much more.
So, a couple questions for you. One is, I've heard that there's an extraordinary number of planets in Aries happening this spring.
Yeah, it's kind of
What's
crazy.
that all about? What's that mean?
So that will be in April. There will be, I believe, 7, if not 8 planets in Aries. So just for planning purposes, if you're wondering if you should start something, but you're not quite feeling the energy yet, the energy is going to be really strong for movement, development, progress, creation, and new starts in April with the stellium of planets in Aries. And that can be something to consciously work with. If you're feeling like you're preparing, you're figuring it out right now, you're trying to plan something. You know, we also have later in February our first Mercury retrograde of the year, starting on February 26th at 22 degrees of Pisces. And that's going to last until March 20th, which is when the Sedona Ascension retreat begins. So we're going to have a slowdown of energies where we're understanding that there's some things we're not meant to continue. We're not meant to take it forward into the new cycle. This is also where you might need more downtime, more rest. You might want to do a little bit of retreating into your own world to just process and consider what is really worth my energy now? What do I really need in my life that gives me life, that fuels me? And all of this can help with understanding that April is a big go month, and April is when the planets are going to pick up, Scott. So I'm glad that you mentioned that because it's a very rare alignment to have that many planets in Aries. And it means we're just going to be ready to take off. In Aries, you want to make sure that what you are moving towards is important, is worthwhile. And you also want to make sure that you aren't moving so fast that you trip over yourself or have an accident. That Aries energy can be impatient. So we're going to have to be aware of this energy that we're feeling and embodying it, and basically use it responsibly to start or move towards whatever is exciting you.
When I think about it, because I know about Aries energy being very impatient, I know about that. And given it's a fire horse, the thing about a horse is that a horse has to be managed. It's a powerful, big animal. And so it seems like there's this big expansion, which is exciting, but learning how to really manage it and ride it, so to speak.
Right. And so last year, we're actually now closing out the energy of the wood snake. And that started last Lunar New Year. And that has been a very intense, perhaps emotional, internal growth experience. I've heard from a number of people that last year was a really, really hard year for them, that a lot was coming up, that they had to process, heal, move through. And it was a very intense, deep dive. But that energy is closing out, and the fire horse is where you're going to feel that you are free. You are free to roam. And if you think of a horse that's wild and untamed, it doesn't want the boundaries. It doesn't want to be held back. So there's going to be a part of us that feels liberated from what we were moving through last year. And that's good to note that if last year was difficult for you or hard or just brought up a lot more than you anticipated, this cycle is very different and 2026 is very different. I feel that a lot of people are actually going to get traction on their new dreams, that you're going to realize that what you have been visioning and focusing on really manifests. Like it's really coming together because the universe has been working on it behind the scenes. And I think it's important to remember, like, the universe always hears you. The universe knows your desires, knows your dreams, knows what your heart wants, and remembers that for the right timing, right? For divine timing. I think a lot of people are going to have some fast moving developments and manifestations with these energies. And so if you felt that anything was forgotten, delayed, it was removed, it's probably going to come around this year to be even better and to even be something that you're really ready for more than you realize. So I'm basically feeling like there's a lot of encouragement here that's going to be starting in these new cycles.
Beautiful. Now here's a big one for you.
Okay.
We talk about the bifurcation, we talk about ascension. From an astrological point of view, what's your perspective about when disclosure will, of course, disclosure is actually happening.
Yeah.
It's happening. But
Yeah.
what are your thoughts about, like, is it just going to be a slow, gradual? No.
This year has a lot of powerful, I see them as combustion points of something happens quickly. And it can be like, boom, like, wow, that finally happened, or out of the blue, this was a breakthrough, or this developed. So things are going to be happening in some very fast moving waves, Scott, is how I see it. And that the disclosure energies are going to be coming out quickly and perhaps move faster than we anticipate, because Uranus is going into Gemini the end of April 26th. And that is the understanding that we're not the only ones on this planet. It's fast moving communications. It's higher consciousness that comes into the human mind, which is Gemini. So people are going to be ready. There's going to be more people who are like willing to think of things differently, to have new perceptions, to expand some of their belief systems and just realize I didn't think of it in that way or I didn't consider that. I also think that people are going to have some fast moving awakenings where they say, yes, I know this is real. Yes, I believe this is true, especially if they've heard whispers about it for years or decades. So I believe that the disclosure energy is going to happen rapidly and that it's actually going to bring in this whole new wave of new understandings and new knowledge. And so the human intelligence is going to be a big part of this. It's like a quantum leap. We're going to have some quantum leaps this year, and I think through the rest of the decade.
We've got a question for you from Diara. She
Okay.
wants to know, Molly, how do we navigate the Aries energy with the shifts coming with Saturn, Neptune, shake and bake?
Yes. So the Saturn Neptune conjunction is exact on February 20th. It's at 0 degrees, 44 minutes of Aries, which is the very, very beginning of a whole new cycle. And these are slow moving energies in a fast moving sign. So we're going to be learning how to temper and pace our expectations, how to stay with something, which Saturn wants you to do, wants you to keep figuring out the plan, looking at the resources, ensuring you have what you need. So there's going to be a determination that Saturn requires. And then Neptune is going to be opening up more of our intuitive downloads so that you're going to be trusting something before you see it. And you're going to trust, okay, I think I should try this, or I think I should go in this direction. So the two together is a very interesting dynamic. Do keep in mind that they're conjunct every 36 years. So they regularly meet up, but it's rare that they're at the very beginning of Aries and they're asking you to trust the new person you're becoming. Trust and believe in what you are responsibly managing and how you're embodying more of your soul, more of your heart, more of your higher spiritual principles. And so this is something that we have to pace because it's not going to develop quickly, but it's going to help you in basically fortifying your new sense of self and knowing that you are rebirthing, while in human form, and that this is a process that you're in charge of as well. So I hope that helps.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Connie writes, Molly is totally right on. All these new perceptions and abilities come from the shift in frequencies. I'm happy to hear trust is part of the foundation of what is happening. And Susan writes, I sure do like Molly's astrology. So,
No, thanks, Susan. That's sweet. Thank you.
speaking of Susan, here is Suzanne.
Here's Suzanne.
Suzanne, do you have any thoughts or questions?
I'm just so impressed, Molly. Your astrology just rolls right off your tongue with such detail. You have such wise perspectives on the whole astrological big picture of the cosmos and
thank
how
you.
it really affects people. I've always been really fascinated by how where the stars are aligned in the sky affects the collective consciousness. I understand how it may affect individuals based on their sign. Although, now that we're expanding in consciousness and becoming more aware of our multidimensionality, we may be moving into other signs and realizing the impact of our whole self, right? But the effect on the collective consciousness, the planetary consciousness at any given time, I think is so fascinating, so compelling. And when you start to look at world events, it becomes crystal clear that that's exactly what's happening.
Yeah, and so the outer planets, the three outermost planets, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, are all moving or have moved into new signs. And so they are dramatically affecting the collective consciousness, and they're also creating a new background frequency that we're feeling. Like we've been sensing it for at least a year, if not more, but now it's really becoming more powerful. And we're realizing how much we are changing as the world is changing. And so, one thing I do want to note here that's really important for everyone is that it's happening within you. You are the source of this power. You are the one who is rising in your consciousness. And yes, there's a lot going on out there, and there's a lot that's going to continue to go on, but the energy is saying prioritize your energy field, and that is where you're going to be really connecting with more of the new earth values, with more of the higher levels of love and peace. Like it's in the individual, it's in each of us that is basically a very key participant and contributor to what the collective consciousness is shifting.
I've got a
Thank you
question
for
for
that.
you. And by the way, Susan Wooldridge writes, Molly is one of the greats. There
Oh,
you have it.
that's sweet.
So, Molly, what's your theory or what's your wisdom knowledge about the etheric planets? I understand that there's the physical planets that we know about, the 9 in our solar system.
Mm.
But I've heard multiple times over the years that there are etheric planets that we can't see physically. They're in another dimension, but they still influence us. Is that part of
Sure.
your understanding?
Yeah, because it would relate to our own frequency and our ability to view and understand them. And so as these other basically experiences of consciousness come into our consciousness, they expand us. So I think it's kind of like there's these other energies in the waiting room until we're ready, maybe to see them or to experience them more fully. But they certainly make an impact. They're certainly, feeling or sending energy that we're feeling. So I do believe it's all valid, if you will. It all is something that we tap into, but it depends on our receptors and our ability to receive their frequencies, their consciousness, the wisdom of each one, because every planet that we've identified is an archetype of energies and expressions. And so when we're ready for next archetypes or new understandings, I believe that's also when new planets are officially discovered or officially, seen. So I think it's promising. It's sort of like, yes, there is more to come, but in the meantime, we are still feeling their consciousness and their influence.
I always like to ask presenters, especially when they're new,
Mm.
tell us a little bit about your journey. Like, where did you start and what's your journey of life looked like in 3 minutes?
Yeah. Well, I first started finding astrology when I was a teenager in a library. My parents went to the library often, and I found various books that I was always drawn to, and I'm pretty sure it started with Linda Goodman's Sun Signs, and I just kept reading more and more about astrology. I had my first professional reading when I was 16, and I kept diving into it as kind of my secret passion. Eventually, I would look at other friends' charts and explain things to them or help them understand this means this. And just through the years, through the decades, it was just something I always turned to that brought me comfort in understanding my own path, in understanding why certain things were confusing or hard, or, help me detach and depersonalize while also reminding me that I'm connected to much bigger forces and energies. And so it just became something that I would constantly read about or want to discover more. Astrology has many niches. So through the years, it was just always a passion. And then it was like at least 15 years ago now when one of my mentors told me that I could be an astrologer. And I was just terrified, like, oh my gosh, how would that happen? How could that be? Because I was thinking like it's such a big responsibility. But spoiler alert, I warmed up to that. And I eventually began doing this because I could see how it helped people validate who they are and their experiences. So I find that it's exciting now to do astrology and share it because so many more people are curious and open to it than ever before, certainly more than 10 years ago. So I find that this is part of our expansion in consciousness and that people are seeing themselves in a whole new light. It's also a way to love yourself more, to understand your unique energy and your gifts and what you're here to experience in this life. So I see it as offering people all these beautiful understandings of who they came here to be in this lifetime.
Beautiful. Nikita in the chat box, a lot of people are commenting, and Nikita writes, "Thank you so much, Molly. Such high vibrational wisdom and insights. Your
Thank you.
passion
Thank you.
and channel for higher knowledge is powerful and deeply appreciated."
Thank you.
Yeah, people are digging you. So to get more Molly, we go to her website, and it's easy to remember because it's her name, mollymccord.online. mollymccord.online. And Molly, what would you like for me to show people?
Well, they can, if you scroll down just a little bit, you can see that there's some free offerings there. If they want to do the meditate, I offer free meditations that they can listen to. They're short meditations, they're free, but they're just a way to reset your energy and give yourself a break if you need it. Of course, I have a variety of courses. My podcast is 3 times a week now, tons of videos on YouTube. And then I also have a few books. If people want to learn more about their chart, I have 2 books. One is called Awakening Astrology, that's about your 5 personal planets. And this is just a great one to understand what your chart means. And then I have another one that came out recently, Soul Growth Astrology. And this one is more about the astrological signs. So if you have a lot of Virgo in your chart, you would read the chapter on Virgo, and it gives you understandings of what to be healing and improving, what you're here to master. It gives you some journal prompts and some client stories. So just some more ways to understand who you are.
Fantastic. I'm going to get a couple of those books, I think. Great. So again, it's mollymccord.online, and that's not
it.
always an extension that we hear. So Molly, this is my first experience with you, and hopefully not my last. I'd love to have you on the show again.
Thank you, Scott. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for having me. And I hope to see you in Sedona if you can make it. But yeah, thank you so much. And thank you to Suzanne, the queen, and everything that she does to make this a success. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Molly.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Oh, well, we're kind of at the mid-show point, and we've got something really special next. And our next presenter is our beloved Nikita, and we have a special introduction for Nikita. So here we go with someone I think you all know and love.
Hello, dear ones. It is my true honor to introduce and welcome Nikita Gearing. She is a beloved friend, sister, an incredible all-around being, both in her beautiful, vibrant heart and an incredible all-around being, both in her beautiful, vibrant heart and in all that she offers to the world. Nikita created I Am Mantra, which many of you may be familiar with. I get a special I Am Mantra blessing in my inbox every morning, and it helps to set the tone of my day. Nikita's an amazing, heartfelt coach, a deep listener, a guide. She actually helped me in my journey to release my album Rain Shine, which is so near and dear to my heart. And she really helped me to steer that process, becoming ever more in alignment with my soul's journey and mission as I stepped towards releasing the album. Nikita has so much to share. I know it's going to be a great blessing, whatever she has for you tonight. And most importantly, I want us all to just warmly send Nikita some big birthday blessings. It was her birthday yesterday, and it's just such a special time when we get to honor the souls in our lives on their sacred birthday. So take a moment, let's all hold our hands up and just send divine grace, birthday blessings for an abundant, joyful, adventuresome, love and community filled year ahead for beloved Nikita. I love you so much, soul sister, and I turn it over to you.
Oh, that's so beautiful. Thank you. Thank you, Kristen. Thank you, Scott. Yeah, Kristen, what an ascension being of light she is. So that was unexpected and very heart-opening and very moving.
I was recorded just this afternoon. And she really wanted to be with us tonight, but she had other obligations. She will be on the show with us live this Saturday night.
Yes. So Scott, tell me, what if I've got about 10 minutes and then we want to do about an 8 or so minute just guided centering meditation? How does that sound?
Yeah. And I'd love for you to kind of course, so many of us use I am mantra and start our day with it. I've noticed already in the chat box earlier, a lot of people mentioned that. You can just share with people a little bit about your journey, your journey with I Am Mantra, and of course, your recent journey to Australia to be with your family. And of course, that'll lead to our letting people know about the GoFundMe, because tonight we are raising money for Nikita. And so just a chance for us to get to know a little bit about you, what's happening, so people know why they want to donate to you.
Well, firstly, I want to say thank you to Scott and Omar Shah for holding the space. Suzanne, it's an honor to meet you. Thank you for the space that you've been holding for these last 11 years plus, because obviously the Ascension retreat is, I'm putting my timer on, the Ascension retreat that you offer is a culmination of all of your many years of growth in yourself, and not just this lifetime. I also want to acknowledge William and his profound sharing, and then Molly. William and Molly just felt like, bam, that was just so full of almost nourishment. So what I think is relevant for me that I can contribute to assist the audience and those watching is the concept that I think has come closer to me, to my heart in this last year, the last 2 years, about ascension as a daily living practice of bringing light and consciousness into every cell of my body being, into my interactions, into my body, mind, emotions, energy, and my soul connection. And I want to just share a little bit about my journey to hope that it inspires you to have the courage in your unique way to be doing this path of becoming more high frequency, conscious, light, love energy in a human form. And that even if you're not on a stage like this, your light, your love, your shifting your frequency, and I'll talk about that in a moment, your nervous system, your mind, your emotions, your energy, your soul connection. It is scientifically proven from many great teachers now, including the Heart Math Institute, that the shift we make in ourselves ripples out like radio waves to everyone around us. We are tuning forks for the new earth. And that is why, in my own experience, now is the time, this path of ascension, to be living and embodying our light in our love, as the monks talked about being peace in action, as Susan's Ascension retreat is about these portals of love, being love in action. This is our moment. And I believe that each of us becomes then these tuning forks that then those around us they then start tuning into these high frequency concepts and understandings. So, very simple backstory. I was born in Australia, and at a young age, I knew there was something greater for myself as a human woman. I just knew, what did it mean to embody heaven on earth? I ended up moving to an ashram when I was 19, studied under Swami Muktananda's lineage, shaved my head, all in the search of, what does it mean to be God in form? What does it mean to be divinity in form? And my journey led me to work in 2004 to come to the United States and work for James Twyman in developing his spiritual peacemaking work. And then in 2009, I moved into developing I Am Mantra. I Am Mantra has grown to reach over 250,000 people daily in 80 countries. And they're simple I Am statements. And the reason why I think I began I Am Mantra is because I thought, how can I contribute every day in a simple way to help people remember their I Am presence, to help people in a simple way come back to themselves? Like, how can we help each other to remember? You know, what William talked about tonight helped us to remember. What Molly talked about helped us tonight to remember. And so my journey, then I, as Kristen said, I offer coaching with individuals and groups. And my work evolved through my own journey, through the ending of my marriage. I had to do a lot of soul searching. I had to learn about trauma and nervous system and epigenetics. And now my work has evolved into what I call kind of a whole system soul aligned approach. And I think that's what, when I was presenting at Patricia Cota-Robles' 5-day World Congress on Illumination in 2024, someone came up to me and said to me, "You're an Ascension guide." And I didn't know what that meant, because I didn't really have a strong relationship with the word ascension. But then as I started contemplating more, I started realizing that ascension is like enlightenment to me. It's ascension, but not leaving my body. It's coming in and remembering the divine blueprint in every cell of my body. It's remembering the way to use my mind in its higher frequency. It's remembering how to open my heart, as Heart Math talks about, in a coherent frequency that transforms my whole body. It's learning how to tap into my energetic systems, my chakras. It's learning how to build my biofield and how to strengthen that. It's learning how to live in a regenerative way. What if ascension is learning how to tap into our blueprint as humans and live in a regenerative way that shines light, like we become like suns to all those around us? The answer to the world lives within each of us, in our hearts and our coherent, harmonic heart and mind. We each have the ability to tap into the universal consciousness and bring forth and start living this frequency of love, the harmonic frequency of love that then shifts the fear-based frequency on the planet. And it seems right now there's a lot of fear-based frequency, but as Patricia Cota-Robles talks about so brilliantly, it's so up right now because this is our opportunity to face all of the fear frequency and choose love and know how to respond in a loving way. And then I'll just finish with a few statements about that in terms of my work that I practice in myself and with my individual clients and group work. So when I think about how do I live from love, how do I ascend and remember my divine blueprint and be a sun to the world at this time to help humanity and the whole planet, because the planet's ascending. Gaia is awake. She is vital. She is communicating with us. And I'll share a little bit about my journey that's coming up of merging Australia and the US through my dual citizenship. But coming back to how do we live from love? Simply in my practice, number one, body. Let's start with the body. These aren't levels, but simply there's a lot of things I could say here, but I'm going to say the nervous system. learning our nervous system, learning how to regulate out of survival that the majority of humanity has lived in for a very long time. Survival has been the go-to. Survival keeps us in fear brain. Survival keeps our system not in its full regenerative process. So learning how to regulate our nervous system, and we're going to do that in a practice tonight. Tonight we're going to do a little meditation, very simple, guided, to help work with these aspects. There's a lot of ways to regulate your nervous system: conscious breathing, going for a walk, rest, music, toning, humming. There's so many resources online. That's one of my primary practices when I start working with a client. Let's help you learn your nervous system so that you know when you're in survival and you can regulate back into that love state. Then a couple other things, then we want to think about our thoughts. So as we're regulating our nervous system, which helps our hormones, our immune system, our cellular structure, it also helps us shift our thoughts. And we start getting out of fear thinking. And there's a lot of pieces that could be said about healing trauma, which we won't go down that path right now, but just being aware of our thoughts. And when we notice that our thoughts are going fear-based, reaction, judgment, then we just shift the dial. I'm going to shift to love. I'm going to consciously choose a new neural pathway right now. And then we get to be emotionally aware. How am I feeling today? No judgment. I call it notice and name. How am I feeling right now? Can I give myself kindness if I'm feeling sad, hopeless, depressed? Can I treat myself with kindness and care? Can I feel those feelings and then reach for a positive emotion? Can I be grateful? Can I be appreciative? Can I choose to feel peaceful? Because all of those emotions, those love-based emotions, have high frequency and they help us move into greater alignment. And then we can work with our energy field, things like Qigong, things like heart coherent breathing, and then we can work with aligning with our soul. So I kind of think it as physical, mental, emotional, energetic soul alignment. And that's kind of my approach to ascension living. Scott, do you have any questions about that?
It's wonderful to see just how you keep evolving and growing as a presenter. And you present beautifully. You're eloquent and passionate and excited. I also want to just acknowledge your wisdom and commitment to nervous system regulation.
Mm.
5 years ago, I don't think we even knew those words, and you are so good at monitoring yourself, working with yourself. And I just want to say that I know that Kristen, who has access to so many coaches, so many amazing people, and you're who she's chosen to work with, and she's benefited from. So just want to let people know that if you're relating and resonating with Nikita, she's a wonderful coach. And are you available for new clients at this time?
Yes, I am at this time. Yes.
Good.
Yes.
So,
thank you, Scott. And what I think I'll say about that is, I want to just speak to just very simply this experience I had in the last year of basically caretaking family in Australia. So, and I want to say, if anyone has been a caretaker of family or is caretaking family, I bow to you. That is one of the most humbling, big jobs, to love someone who's going through a very challenging health situation or end of life. That is one of the most unseen jobs. So if you're one of those people, please know that in this moment you're seen and valued. Secondly, my journey, I believe that my journey, I believe, always guides me to the exact path I need for my soul growth, for my ascension. So I found myself in Australia caretaking and assisting 2 family members, not 1, but 2. I gave myself double duty to learn the lessons and to assist. 2 things I noticed. Gaia is high frequency in Australia. The animals, the earth, I think that was the next level for me in my relationship with earth, Gaia consciousness. So one of the things I think that we can, as ascending humans, as evolving humans, continue to develop our relationship with the living planet, because she has so much nourishment. She supports our regenerative energy. The other thing I experienced was having to live the wisdom. I wonder if any of us have these moments where right now we're together. It's like an oasis. Thank Goddess for the awakening world. Thank Goddess for Susanna's Ascension retreat. Thank Goddess for things that help us remember. Because there are moments, for example, for me, where I'm walking through a huge hospital, or I'm sitting in an oncology supporting supporting a family member, or watching people get chemotherapy, and I'm there going, how can I be consciousness in the presence of this? Can I bless all the medicine? Can I pray with every cell of my being that new ways come? Can I pray? Can I be that warrior of light in these places that hold so much for people? Can I pray, and can my prayers ripple through this whole hospital, that everyone's soul even a little bit wakes up? Can I be that change? Can you be that change in the grocery store, with your loved one, with your child, at your school? Can you be that change, even if it doesn't seem like you're making a difference? You are. We're making a difference, and the earth is changing, and the systems are needing to change, and our light in the center of those systems is what's going to help change them. Thank you. I just really needed to speak to that. This is the first audience that I've been able to remotely speak about this very big experience I've had. And so I feel safe to speak so honestly about these things. Thank you.
I'm going to go to gallery view for a moment, and let's just send Nikita our appreciation for her sharing so vulnerably, so honestly. And yes, everybody honor the caregivers. The caregivers have the hardest, when someone is dying, I always go to work with the caregiver. The person who's dying gets lots of attention. It's the caregivers that need extra love and support. So thank you, Nikita, for naming that and sending you maximum grace and maximum appreciation. Now, I am going to come back to you, and I am going to ask you one more question before you lead us on our meditation. It is a global peace tribe tradition that when it's somebody's birthday, I'm going to invite you to share your vision for yourself for this next year, for this next cycle around the sun.
Mm.
And all of us are going to tap into our inner Mary Magdalene, our inner Yeshua, our inner whoever we channel, and hold that vision for you, right? So, and world peace would be great, but we want to know about you. We want to know about Nikita's vision for Nikita for the next year.
Thank you. Thank you, Scott. I think firstly, my vision is really resilience in self. I think I've learned that to be of great benefit requires resilience in self. So physical, mental, emotional, energetic, spiritual resilience, health, physical health. I think I'm committed in this next year to greater strength in my physical body, so that I can hold more light, more frequency, so greater health. I think also allowing myself to have greater abundant flow. I think financial abundant flow, and abundant in all ways. I think that I come from a lineage where I was taught as a spiritual being that you give freely and you don't expect payment. And I think that as an ascension is no longer sustainable, that the idea of allowing in financial flow and financial wealth, and claiming that in myself, and supporting others to claim that financial flow in their lives so we can be of great benefit. And I think being in my passion and also my citizenship, getting my citizenship approved easily, my US citizenship approved easily. So I have dual Australian and US citizenship, and I can merge sort of the energies of the two countries. And then also health for my family, health for my loved ones. Thank you.
Maximum grace for these visions, these longings from her precious, precious heart. Maximum grace. Doug May writes, Nikita is a walking soul quake. I've never heard that before. DR writes, she is being that beacon of light. Yes. Carol Craig returning to the US, taking care of her 93-year-old mother. Omashar saying, thank you, Nikita. Ayada saying, amen, Nikita. Carol Craig sending hearts and loves. And Gerald is also taking care of his father. Scotty writes, yes. Scotty Satori writes, yes, bless the caregivers, support them somehow, some way. Karen S. is amazed that you were supporting two people, not just one, but two. And Scotty Satori letting us know we've been tracking. His daughter just got out of a 12-hour shift as a caregiver, and her teammate went into labor. So she had 13 residents by herself today. Wow. Sending love. And then finally, Susan Woldridge, we have many Susans, writes, hello, dear Nikita. Had the delight of meeting with you. Yes, please schedule sessions. Brilliant. So there you go. I think you have a client there.
And I just want to say that remembering that the prayers that I make for myself, because we're all connected in the oneness, are also rippling out for the prayers for all of us. So I just want to also, as a prayer, that each of us find our path more easeful this year with more abundance and health.
Beautiful.
And Scott, what do you think? Do we think we just do something simple now as a little guided, as an offering?
Yeah, please, ladies, we'll take a look at your websites after that. But please do lead us in a meditation. And of course, Nikita and I had talked about the fact that so many of us were tuned into the monks, the amazing walking monks. Most of us watched and listened to the meditation and tuned into them. And so whatever, you are a clear channel for spirit to flow through, Nikita. So whatever flows through you, and I trust your words, your choices, and I also trust your timing.
Okay, great. So we're going to begin. This is very simple experience. And the idea tonight is there's been some powerful sharings already, and we just want to help our nervous system and our body mind relax and drop into the present moment and drop into some regenerative energy. That's all I'll say. I've said a lot of words already. So you can do this. It's going to be simple guided experience. There won't be any music. You're just going to hear the frequency of my voice and my words and my voice. So you're welcome to close your eyes or keep your eyes open, but just lower your gaze because we want to go into our internal world at this time. We want to go into our real, true home space, our body, into our body and into our heart and our mind and our soul connection. So closing our eyes or lowering our gaze. And firstly, giving yourself permission to relax. Right now, there's nothing you need to do other than give yourself, your body, and your mind permission to relax. And then begin to start noticing your breathing. Start noticing your inhale and your exhale. Noticing your in-breath and your out-breath. Breathing in a natural way that feels gentle and comfortable for you. We're breathing gentle, soothing, relaxing, calming breaths. Our breath is helping us center and relax, regulate, and align. Our conscious breath helps us channel divine energy into our body and our being. So we're breathing consciously in and out, gentle, soothing, nourishing breaths. And allowing your breath to be a little longer, a little slower, a little deeper. Giving yourself permission to slow down in this moment and become present to the vast ocean of consciousness that you and we are connected to. So we're using our breath to relax the body and mind and open ourselves into this vast, expansive, present moment of consciousness, allowing our energy to align and expand. Continuing to breathe gentle, soothing breaths. And with each breath, the body is relaxing a little bit more. And with each breath, your mind is calming and releasing tension and thoughts. And it's as if you're opening a doorway into this vast ocean of consciousness, of peace, of love, of connection to your higher soul self. And continuing to breathe gentle, soothing breaths. And now imagining above your head, above your crown, is a ball or orb of light, almost like the sun. And this sun is divine light. It is your higher self. It is your soul. It is Mother Goddess, Father God. It is your I Am Presence. And this sparkling, beautiful light is full of peace and love and healing and harmony. And taking a gentle breath and breathing, and as you breathe, you're imagining this divine light coming down from this sun and now flowing into the crown, your crown, into your head, into your brain, divine peace and healing, love and light filling all aspects of your brain, flowing through your entire head, your eyes, your ears, your mouth, your jaw, your whole head being filled with this divine, peaceful, loving light. And this divine light flows down now through your throat, filling your throat chakra with divine, loving light, and down through your shoulders and your arms and into your hands. And your hands are vibrating and filled with loving light. Your hands are channels for this loving light into this world. And then bringing the awareness to the heart center and taking some gentle, soothing breaths into the heart center. Just placing your awareness into the heart and breathing this loving light into your heart center. Your heart center is being filled with this loving light, and it is relaxing and opening and expanding, connecting with your higher self. Your heart center is open and expanded and connected with your higher self. And taking another gentle breath. And now seeing this loving light flowing down from the heart center into your stomach, your solar plexus, into your abdomen and your navel chakra, into your root chakra, your entire core being filled with loving light. And then down your legs, through your knees, into your feet and toes. Loving light flowing through your legs into your feet and toes. And then from your feet down into the earth, like energetic roots down to the center of the core, the heart of Gaia, connecting you to her nourishment and her love and her strength. And she sends this love and strength now back up through her central channel, up through her core, up through your feet, and up through your legs and into your hips, up through your central channel, and then up through your crown, meeting with the orb of light above you. Heaven and earth grounded through you. And now this orb of light beams out rainbow light all around you, like a rainbow of light, 360 degrees, like an orb or bubble. This is your biofield. This is your energetic field. This is your rainbow field. This is your regenerative energetic field. And it is full of light and love and harmony and peace, and you are bathed in light and love and harmony and peace now. And taking a breath and relaxing and feeling this frequency of light all around you, this peace, this love, this remembering, this awakening. And then gently bringing your awareness back to your heart center. And taking a few more breaths in your heart center. And feeling this central point of your being, your heart in love and peace, your mind in love and peace, your body, your cells in love and peace, your emotions, your energy, love and peace. And you are connected to your unlimited soul, and you are magnificent, and you are so very loved and so very precious. And then taking one more breath and gently putting your hands on your heart if it's comfortable to do so. And just a few more breaths into your heart and saying thank you to yourself for showing up this lifetime to embody and be loving, peaceful consciousness and light. Thank you to yourself for remembering, and through your remembering and embodiment, helping humanity and all of life on this living planet and the whole of the universe to transform. Your loving light and your choice to choose love and be peace in action matters, and you are making a difference. And then when you're ready, take a gentle breath and go ahead and open your eyes and come back into the Zoom space together while still feeling this loving light, love and peace in action now. Thank you. Thank you, Scott.
As you can tell, everything Nikita does, she does with so much love. And I want to invite everybody, if you haven't already, to join IamMantra.com. It's free. Just click receive I Am Mantra Daily. And I'm sure that you've seen in the chat box, those of you that are in the Zoom room, how many people have talked about how they start their day with her I Am Mantra affirmations that come into the email every day. And it really is a beautiful service that she provides. And again, it's simple. Just go to IamMantra.com. And of course, tonight we are raising money for her to help her become a U.S. citizen. Obviously, because she was in Australia to take care of family. For all that time, she wasn't really able to work. So it's important for us to support her. Of course, I'm going to support her, and I invite all of you to do so as well. A reminder, I want to show you that when you're, whoops, wrong one. When you are doing this, you do not have to give GoFundMe anything, actually. They automatically have this little bar set at 17.5%. So let's take it right down like that. Whoopsies, bye-bye. Now, of course, you can still add a tip if you want for GoFundMe. I personally like for all the money to go to Nikita. So if you just go to GoFundMe.com and click in Nikita, U.S. citizen, it'll pop right up. And of course, I'm going to put the link into the chat box for everybody. And I really invite, and even if you only donate $5, there's something about supporting a person that really, if she knows, wow, even just $5 from this person, it lets her know that people are caring about her and touched by her offering. So I put in it earlier, but here again, in the chat box is her GoFundMe. And by the way, while you were meditating, a friend of yours popped up.
Miss
Nikita has a
Jasmine
nice
Bear.
relationship with Jasmine Bear. So
All the four-leggers who are playing their role in bringing light and being Ascension guides. Thank you very much, Scott. Thank you, Susan, for letting me share tonight in your sacred show. Bless all you're doing. I'm so inspired to hear how your event goes in March. I hope many people will join. And thank you to everyone who offers money towards my GoFundMe. I really appreciate it.
thank you,
Bless
Nikita,
you,
for
and
the
thank you,
beautiful
Nikita.
meditation and a beautiful presentation. Thank you so
you.
much. Take care, my dear. Well, it is time. The only thing that could follow up such a beautiful presentation is Omashar. And so here is our mid-show song with our house musical artist, our beloved brother.
Yes, indeed. Nikita, you, I was going to say you rock, but I've been taking such a peaceful place. I get 250,000 of us get a dose of you every single day, and I know it's another me. And so I through your mantras, I feel what you're attempting to manifest, and your struggles, and your victories, and your triumphs. So thank you. And I was thinking of putting a real peaceful song in here, but I think it's time for us to shake our booty. And if anybody wants to put on headphones and turn the volume up to 11, this is the song to do it. And this is the background to do it with. And it's called Hypnotized. And here we go. recognize we've been hypnotized. The spell is wearing off, and so now we rise with higher frequencies. There is no disguise. The truth of life itself is now realized. Love is reaching through the hearts of me and you. Our world is waking up to our different points of view, 'cause now we recognize we've been hypnotized. The spell is wearing off, and so now we rise with higher frequencies. There is no disguise. The truth of life itself is now realized. So shake yourself free of the past. No longer do we walk in the dark. Let's show each other what we can do, and let our light shine right on through. And let the good of humanity stay, and let the dross simply fade away. And let the mother return to us all, so that love can have her way. Now we recognize we've been hypnotized. The spell is wearing off, and so now we rise with higher frequencies. There is no disguise. The truth of life itself is now realized. So shake yourself free of the past. No longer do we walk in the dark.
Woo-hoo-hoo! Connie points out that is the Trust Frequency theme song. And let's go to gallery view and I'll send love. Thank you, everybody, for moving and grooving and dancing. And of course, thank you, Omashar, for getting the energy moving and grooving and rolling. That was fantastic.
Thank you. Between us all, we're doing the job that we were here to do.
Well, and that the message of that song is so important. I wish everyone on the planet could hear the lyrics and just reflect on how they're being hypnotized.
Yes.
Yes. All right. I am going to bring our co-hostess with the mostest back on to introduce our next guest. Suzanne, are you having a good time?
I am having a good time. And I just wanted to remind everybody, Omashar is our house musician for our entire 3-day Sedona Ascension retreat.
Thank you so much. Yes, the resonance is there, and I can already feel that the Sedona Ascension retreat is already accomplished and triumphant. I feel it in my bones, and so I'm pulling myself back to here and just appreciating the build-up. I love you, Suzanne. See you.
Oh, I love you too, Omashar. And he was the musician at my San Diego Transcendence retreat. And I just loved all of his music so much. And so did all of our guests. And so I wrote a little love note to him and inviting him. Oh,
I have it here. It was an amazing experience because in an event, sometimes you don't know each other, but you feel each other. You know your soul family. And I was sitting next to Suzanne watching, I don't know who it was, someone amazing. And she took, I have my journal book, and she took it out of my hands and turned it back to me and wrote in it. And there was an invitation to come to the Sedona Ascension retreat. It was the biggest gift that I ever received. Just the energy, not the actuality of it, but the energy of the love behind the gesture was beautiful. Thank you.
Aw, thank you, Omashar. I
All
meant
right,
it.
onward.
Yay! So here we go, Scott. We have a couple of more presenters from the Sedona Ascension Retreat coming on. Who
And,
do we have
and yeah,
next?
I believe Karina's next. You want to tell us a little bit about
Corrine.
her?
Absolutely. Hello, beautiful soul sister. How are you?
I'm doing well. So happy to be here, really.
Yes, so Alan Steinfeld introduced Corrine and I, and she lives here in San Diego. And Alan and Corrine came to my horse ranch, and we had time just to sit and get to know each other and talk about who she is and what she does. And her gifts are so incredibly beautiful, and she's just really an authentic, sweet soul. And so I just feel very blessed that she's going to be joining us. Let me just read a little of your professional bio. Corrine LeBrun, MS, is a TEDx speaker, author, and consciousness researcher who bridges science, psychology, and spirituality. She is the author of Infinity Within, along with the handbook for badass spiritual warriors and The Waterway. Featured in the documentary Awakening the Goddess, Corrine is recognized for her expertise in Kundalini and spontaneous spiritual experiences. She also hosts the Wild Divine Bliss podcast, exploring these phenomena through psychology, neuroscience, and lived experience. With a master's degree in psychology and PhD research focused on meditation and consciousness, she leads workshops, online courses, and speaks on the grounded integration of profound spiritual experiences. Her website is wilddivinebliss.com. Check out her books, courses, and email list. You go, girl. Wow, impressive.
It's so weird to hear all that stuff. I'm like, did I really do all that? It just kind of accumulates over time when you're like passionate about a subject. And actually, first of all, I know we're running a little over time and I want to be respectful of everyone. So how many minutes do I get to blab?
20 minutes.
20 minutes. Okay, you got it. Absolutely. I guess what I want to say, unless Suzanne, you've got a question for me.
Well, I know that you're part of the Consciousness Club here in San Diego, and
Mhm.
share a passion about exploring quantum consciousness. And so maybe you can describe for us, what is quantum consciousness?
That's a really good question. And quite honestly, I don't have a good answer for that. But I think, it's all about this actually goes right to my work, which is all about how do we define different states of consciousness and how does each individual define what that is for them. And I'm one of these people, I've been very fortunate to have some very, let's call them wild and out there spiritual experiences that I didn't know were called Kundalini experiences until I had my third one like that. Then I actually found the terminology for it. But I'd say when you start breaking through the fabric of what we call three-dimensional reality, that is when it's quantum consciousness, is what I would call it. That would be my way of defining that. And it's really just recognizing the truth. I mean, some of the speakers here talked about it this evening already, recognizing the truth and now the scientific research that shows that we are all really connected on a quantum level, which is kind of mind blowing. And it's been so wonderful for me when I first started out on my real spiritual path, because I'm also a pragmatist. I had to explain everything through science. I'm like, okay, why can I dream about the future? This makes no sense. I need to find the science. It's like, why can I possibly like feel energy? This makes no sense. What's the science? And it took a long time before there was actually research. And I can say, I think that's probably why I feel more comfortable talking about these things now, finally, because there is research behind it. But yeah, and so now that there's science behind showing that we are connected, this is the part that gets me so excited. One of the research studies was by Michael Persinger. I don't know if you ever heard of him. And he showed that we can affect each other's thoughts, even across the ocean of somebody we know. We can affect brain waves. Brain waves sync up, even if you're not in direct communication. So that's kind of mind blowing. And to realize that how we feel and how we think, there really is a ripple effect. And to like, I think start anchoring that into our, let's call it our habits of thinking, is really what it comes down to, rather than thinking of it as, a special spiritual skill, thinking of it as this is just a very real fact that we need to understand, that our behavior and our thoughts really do impact other people. And we're going to be human. We're going to, have hard times, and to realize it's okay to ask for support during those times, but that essentially, focusing on love and compassion and creating a deeper sense of meaning in your life is really like, that's what's going to really help create the ripple effect within that quantum field. So I don't know, that was a long answer for a short question.
It was an excellent answer, though, my friend, because as we have been exploring with the other Consciousness Club members,
Yeah.
that there are entry points into the greater field of quantum consciousness. And some of those can be lucid dreaming, psychedelics, maybe you have a contactee experience, maybe you have a near-death experience, or maybe you've just found some really deep spiritual practices that have allowed you to go on astral journeys or to open your Akashic records. Even just, walks out in nature, right? When you feel really connected to the world around you and you realize that everything is consciousness. I think love can bring you into that place, and just really deep and meaningful experiences. And so, thank you for, go
Yeah.
ahead.
So one of the things that you were talking about, like how do we, let's say, break through those layers of consciousness? And that's part of I might feel like is my deep calling in the world, is to help people understand these, what we call spontaneous spiritual awakenings or spontaneous Kundalini experiences. Because like I've been interviewing people from my podcast, which will come live in no later than March, maybe even in a couple weeks. It's amazing, like those instances can bring someone who was just very practical 3D in the world. And I call it punching through reality. It's like all of a sudden they're able to like see something entirely different, and their state of consciousness has expanded and they're never the same. And these experiences, but the more people that feel comfortable talking about them, the faster we can continue this evolution that we have. And so that's like, I feel like I'm like out finding everyone and going, okay, we can talk about this, because it's usually people who are professionals and scientists. Like they're like, oh, I had this experience, but I don't want to tell anybody about it. And I want to make it more comfortable for them to realize, hey, there's no science behind it. We've been able to study. I think the two studies I know of, it's at least 900 people worldwide have volunteered to do like 100 questionnaire studies on this phenomenon. And it's so wonderful. We now know more about what happens for people when they go from, one state of regular consciousness, or even if you're in higher consciousness already, and then you just all of a sudden you just get like catapulted up to another one. And I know I've been fortunate to have 3 of those myself. And they've all been stunning, stunning experiences. So that's where I feel like the work comes in, because I think more people, for me, it's to have the courage to finally speak up and say, yeah, I've had these experiences, and no longer fear that people will think I'm crazy by having had those. So that's what I love to look at that whole world. And then, okay, also talking about, I'm looking at the timer here. Also, that's one thing that's I call it the Kundalini and spontaneous spiritual awakenings. They tend to come and get people. Sometimes people can meditate their way to them. However, that's more rare than them literally coming to get you. Different traditions will say that's based on different reasons. Some will say it's past lives. Some will say it's being anointed by the Holy Spirit. Some will say it's, you're having an expansion of chi energy. It depends on what tradition you are framing it through. And that's really what I'm interested in, is listening to people and how do they individually frame this? Because that's really going to help us all understand these better and how to possibly even bring them to more people. But other ways that I like helping people bridge that gap, let's say expand the state of consciousness. One thing that I have found that has worked so well for me and my clients is something I actually get to teach at the Ascension retreat. I'm excited about this. Is my journaling technique, which I call journaling for higher consciousness. It's based on neuroscience. It's about dream interpretation. It's learning how to become more aware on a habitual basis of things that are anomalies in our day-to-day life, and no longer just having what we call in psychology situational blindness. You actually start to notice, like, oh, wow, I was just talking about this subject and someone else is just talking about it. What are the chances, or I was just thinking about this person and talking about them in an empty room. They start walking up to you. You and I had one of those experiences together, actually, which was crazy. So it's, those are things I love, helping people realize that you can go beyond where you think you're at. There's always more. There's always more. It's like it never ends. Your consciousness it never stops expanding.
Thank you for that. I love this idea of a spontaneous awakening, because it happened to me in the beginning of my journey way back in 1995 when I had a
Wow.
spontaneous awakening on a
Wow.
mountaintop in the desert. I had a moment of surrender, which led to this divine intervention, right? And then I was spontaneously healed and I felt I was merged with my higher self. And it was this big, but I had no anticipation of it whatsoever, because I wouldn't
Yeah.
have even known, what it was or how to describe it, right? So that is cool when you can have like a spontaneous, awakening experience, or just even step into divine synchronicity. And I know what you mean. Like at the event, you and I had a concern and we were talking about it. And then moments later, had a revelation about it, and we boom ran into each other. And you're like, Suzanne, I have an
Yeah.
answer.
Scott, looks like you got something to say
Yeah, I
here
do. Well,
too.
I want to
Yeah.
take people to your website, but I have a question that's related to it. So, first of all, her website, it's a wonderful name, wilddivinebliss.com. And definitely, but I like your 3 keys to unlock your inner fire. So, share with us a little bit more what you mean by the inner fire, and then maybe wax poetic for a moment about these 3 keys.
Oh, yeah. So to me, it's like living Kundalini energy. To me, is the inner fire, the inner passion. And that is why it's wild divine bliss as well, because it's that the yin and the yang of the passion and stillness together. And when you've got the 3 keys, it's like the fire. You are connecting to your soul. Connecting to your soul is absolutely number 1. And one of my favorite tools is that doing the spiritual logbook, which I just talked about. And it's like, and what wants expression? I believe that creative expression is one way to really tap into that fire. because you're creating a channel for the divine to move through you. Like I've really found that sometimes when we feel it's called emotionally clogged, spiritually stuck, the answer is because we just really need to be creating something. We are meant to create, whether you are, creating amazing meals, creating a business, creating paintings, dancing, music, whatever it is, but creating something. It's pretty awesome. So that is what I mean by connect, clarify, and create. And by the
Beautiful.
way, this website is going to be changing soon to talk about my podcast as well. There's like so much on there, and I realized, okay, I need to like calm down and, focus this a little bit more.
Well, there is a lot. So,
Yes.
um, so you have a community that you've created. Tell us about your community.
So the community is for two types of people. One is people who've had one of these spiritual awakenings, and then others is just people who would like to have spiritual support from other people who have, I call it spiritual longings, because I think, like it's very different when you are on a spiritual path because you think you have to do that for healing, as opposed to there's just something in you that will not let it go. It's something you've been born with. It's something that calls you. You cannot put it to sleep. It's let's maybe call it the path of the mystic. And those are the people really I resonate with the most, because that's me. I've
Fantastic.
always been like that.
I'm realizing you had looked familiar. We're both part of the Consciousness Club.
Well,
So,
yes, I knew that. I
and
thought
I
you
was
knew
like,
that.
looks familiar. So I've seen you in the Zoom room for that. Yeah.
Oh my God, that's funny. Yeah.
Um, so you work with people. Now you talked a little bit about, the work that you do, but tell us a little bit more. Like,
Yeah.
what demographic group do you most enjoy working with? Is there a particular kind of person that kind of comes your way that you guide to the next step in their journey?
You'd be surprised. It's entrepreneurs and scientists are the people who I end up working with the most. And it's usually entrepreneurs who like, I think I'm a mystic, but I'm not 100% sure. Oh, hey, Kareen, I had this experience, especially scientists. I had this experience, but I don't want to tell anybody about it.
Right.
Because if I do, they're going to think I'm crazy, but what do I do next? And then it's just so phenomenal to me to watch when people understand like where to go and that their experiences are real, how quickly they blossom. It's just phenomenal. Like in like under a year, under 6 months, I have to say one of the most profound things I've ever seen is someone like lose 150 pounds in less than 6 months and have their debilitating arthritis healed just by getting in touch with their soul and understanding who they are. So rewarding.
Do you know Paul Mills? Have you come across Paul?
No, I don't think I have
Paul
yet.
wrote a wonderful book. He's been on our show a couple times, called Scientists Sharing About Their Spiritual Experiences. Um,
Ooh.
and it is really important, more and more. We also, Dr. Kat Lewis is a regular on our show. And so quite often, I think Reverend Jeffrey is with us right now. We have members of the International Space Federation. And so more and more, our scientific minds are embracing their spirituality.
Yeah.
Our spiritual people are embracing the true science, quantum physics, and the higher levels of science. So it's really exciting how science and spirituality is coming together
Oh yeah.
this time in our reality.
Yeah, and I just want to mention on that note, like my latest book, Infinity Within, one of the things I did is I put probably like 90 scientific peer-reviewed citations in the back of the book. But I do want to give, okay, you can't see it in the light here.
You know
Ah,
what?
there we go.
I'll pull it up on the website.
But
Here are her books.
oh God, okay, I gotta say, talking about caregivers, this is why I wrote this original book back in, I think it was 2018, because anyone who's a caregiver is a badass spiritual warrior, because it is so hard to do. And this book is really written for people who are in the world doing the work, and it's who you have to really do the spiritual work, you got to be in the world. And I had to learn that the hard way too. You can't just shield yourself. So this is the book for people who have to be in the world. So anyway, that's what that one, I wrote that one. The Waterways is screenplay. I've yet to turn it into a movie, which I will now soon with AI.
All right.
And it's all about spiritual becoming and finding your soul and finding your, let's say, superhuman powers. So it's really cool. And the infinity within this one is all about going inward. It's all the tools about going in. I know there's something I was going to say about it earlier and it escaped me. So,
Well, you can find all three of her books at wilddivinebliss.com and then just click where it says books. And Corinne, I love your passion. I love your excitement. And I look forward to seeing you possibly when we're down in San Diego to come
yeah,
Conscious Life Expo, and love to have you on the show again in a couple of weeks. So let's plan on it.
thank you. Awesome. Wonderful.
fun.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much for being with us. All right, Suzanne. But wait, there's more. You've got one more fantastic guest to introduce us to.
Absolutely. Sarah L. Caldy. So I have to say that I became a big fan of her YouTube channel, The Alchemist, and I couldn't wait to tune in to her episodes because just mysticism rolls off her tongue, mystical alchemy, and I just learned so much. She's just very wise, incredibly knowledgeable, very sincere, and I'm so blessed to have gotten to know her. Thank you so much for saying yes to come into the Sedona Ascension retreat, Sarah.
Oh, thank you so much for inviting me. I instantly felt soul family from you.
Aw, bless you. Thank you. I'll go ahead and read your bio. Sarah is a mystic and spiritual teacher. She's widely known as a leader in the field of spirituality and the esoteric arts. Sarah is highly claircognizant. She uses her intuitive abilities as well as her extensive background in mysticism to help humanity actualize our evolutionary potential. She is adept in bridging the higher worlds with the lower worlds, the outer world with the inner world. Her spiritual teachings are deep insights into the nature of reality, create energetic transmissions that activate her audience on a soul level. Her videos are well known for needing to be watched several times in order to fully extract the profound wisdom in each episode. With an online community consisting of hundreds of thousands of awakening souls, it's her highest honor to assist humanity's evolution. Sarah hosts retreats and seminars internationally on alchemy and ascension. And Sarah, you also were invited to be part of the mystery teaching series on Gaia TV.
Yeah, and so the second season is coming out February 20th. I put so much into the second season. It's really an exploration on not just our spiritual evolution, but also very deep codes for those who are wanting their soul to even explore outside of this universe. So I was able to really just make it all through, like make a through line so it all made sense, so they all were coherent with one another, but also at the same time, literally each episode is its own world.
February 20th, how it comes out on Gaia TV. Oh, good. Well, I'm tuning in for sure.
Okay.
Sarah, please share with the audience how you came into mystical alchemy, because I know it's been since childhood.
Yeah, so there was always this looming, I guess the best way to call it before it became truly spiritual, it was more like existential. And so I always had this core spirituality. I projected onto that a deep dogmatic religion. That was the way that I first connected with spirituality because I always had that core, yearning for it. And so I'm a double Leo, so we're very much into dogma, ritual. And so I took out my spirituality on Catholicism at first until I grew out of that. No one would probably think that the way I speak about stuff on my channel, but I was actually very Catholic at one point in my life. And so from there, I really just kept outgrowing and outgrowing and outgrowing any form of spiritual system. And I've done that through esoterica. And that's why I focus my teachings based off of not one system of mysticism because I've studied almost all of them, but rather my own personal gnosis from many of those paths so that people can actually feel rather than needing to really dial into one tradition, they can feel that level of liberation of exploring their soul through mysticism without really needing to go deeply into one tradition only. Because as we know, especially people tuning into this, we're very multidimensional at this point.
It does feel like you can go on this big exploration of all these different spiritual traditions. And I've done some of that myself and just read hundreds of books and dove into this and then dove into that until suddenly it's almost as if you have this inner knowing that becomes, like you said, a gnosis. And so you really don't start reaching for the books anymore. Also, I think through that process, you become more intuitive and connected. So there's an inner knowing that you've developed or has suddenly awakened even within you, but you also become more intuitive and maybe start even channeling, some of this knowledge and wisdom through.
Oh, absolutely. So when I first started my YouTube channel, I was writing my own scripts and then reading them on a teleprompter to feel comfortable with relaying what I would consider complex or at least nuanced topics. I was like, oh, there's no way I can send this to my editor and have them watch me think and go, blah, blah. So I was just given the good advice, just write scripts. And I got burnout from doing that because it would take 48 hours to condense things into a 10-minute video. And so I started just feeling comfortable, really, channeling this stuff myself. And so I actually don't know what I'm going to talk about until I start doing my makeup. So everything's so in motion that once I start doing my makeup for whatever day I film, I start getting the information of what to talk about. Then I just turn on the camera and figure out whatever else.
It's felt like that when I was watching your show. It's like there was a topic you wanted to talk about, but it really felt to me like you just were flowing. It was coming through you, but you spoke so eloquently and just you felt like such a wise prophet, as kind of. So that's very cool.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. So, Scott, do you have any questions for Miss Sarah since you've never
Yeah, thank you.
had her on before? And
Yeah, it's great to meet you, Sarah.
Yeah, great to meet you too.
And I really appreciate that you're what I call a clear channel for spirit to flow through. I think from almost all of us and almost all the presenters that, I've met a lot over the 30 years I've been hosting and producing television. And it seems like as we evolve as presenters, whatever it is that we do, more and more it's less logically thought out and more just spirit flowing through us. So I honor and I recognize that in you.
Oh, thank you. That means a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. What would you like for our audience to know? I can go to your website, which is a beautiful
Oh,
website.
yeah.
It's thealchemist.community, thealchemist.community, and definitely make sure you put in your email address, just like I just did, and subscribe. And it's just gorgeous. I love that image of you coming out of the eye of God. Probably my favorite photograph ever. What would you like for our audience to know?
So I'm really excited because I've never done a talk in person about the fashion network's role and how we receive upgrades.
Oh,
That and the first wave of Ascension. I did a video on the first wave of Ascension I believe 2 or 3 years ago. And it's has now this, I call it underground following, where people bring it up in certain situations where I don't expect people to have really connected so much with that video. And so it's always occurred to me to continue doing videos on that, but the more visible, the larger I got, I started wanting to first, before I start bringing back the first wave of Ascension, honoring the fact that I can fit into many worlds, and because of that, I realize I'm a bridge into this world, and so I wanted to come across, I guess, as more human first, before then I whack them with Ascension again. So I have my own tempo, even in between topics. I always make sure to never really get pinned in one category. There was one point where people were calling me one of the most experts in twin flames. So I was like, oh no, we're not doing another twin flame episode then. I could have done 5 more, but I always try to make sure that I'm fluid, because so many of the topics that I cover, I end up, they end up, the topics themselves becoming iconic. And so it's very easy for a person to get pinned in anything. And so I just play a game of making sure I don't get pinned in any one category.
That's smart. That's definitely smart. Well, what do you most enjoy talking about? What is most alive in your heart?
So I'm very excited about talking about the God spark. Many people know it also as the divine spark, the God spark. And so there's other things that I've heard it talked about through, but I think people might resonate the most with the divine spark. I even have one of the episodes in Mystery Teachings on this. And so what I really feel called to do is help people understand their inner technology. And that there doesn't need to be a war with external technology, but that if we don't have our internal technology right, we will reach towards very extreme conditions of external technology. But will we even be a coherent person? So because of that, there's a lot of things I see in the technological movements that can be so much better if the person themselves is actually integrated with their own emotions or with their own inner technologies. And so what I want to bring to the table for the Ascension retreats is actually making people aware of just how much of our gender, our biology, our physiology is all divine technology.
That's beautiful. So how do we practically apply that? Like what's an example in our daily life where understanding that we can apply it?
I think, and when I'm listening to so many people here talk about consciousness, and I'm just like resonating, like, yes, unified field, yes, infinity, yes, this and that. Like this just feels like such beauty and such relief and unity, because what I feel that is already in the morphic field now and will be easier for other people to really integrate is the idea that consciousness is what programs something. Consciousness can rewrite anything. So once we start really understanding our own creative power, that we are creators, that we are the creator, but whatever level we're at when it comes to consciousness, once we start really connecting with consciousness itself, in whatever way that is, for each person, it will be different depending on their level of, experience and comfort. That's really what can rewrite any, distorted coding, any cellular memory, anything inside our body, mind, spirit, or our energy field that we feel like is either too human or locking us into our third dimensional, identity so much. And so what I'm really excited about is making consciousness cool, making the unified field of consciousness more available, more realistic inside the morphic field for everyone so that then they can actually start with, whatever their level of comfort is with consciousness, they can actually start really understanding that the first thing before anything, whether it's an external thing of technology or whether it's an external thing of relationships, whether it's manifestation, it doesn't really matter what category, but that consciousness is the leading force behind that. And so once we start understanding that, we'll start going deeper into mind-heart coherence, which is actually why I love the Gaia family so much. They're strong proponents of the mind-heart coherence. And that's really where what I've noticed, the highest levels of consciousness really care about intention. But why? Like there's nothing wrong with wanting to manifest things. I don't think there's wrong. I don't have a judgment against people that want to manifest a better life for themselves. That's actually beautiful. But what I notice is once the person starts really caring about intention, that's a very developed being. And why that's very developed is because intention is at the core of the mind-heart coherence. Once you have mind-heart coherence and you have a strong intention that's radiating from your heart center, everything will look like you're a magician.
Mm-hmm.
How old do I look? I'm just curious. And you're not going to hurt my feelings. I'm not like every other woman I know who gets mad when I guess their age.
Let me see your hands. Put your hands up. 42.
This all backfired horribly. This is like the most, this is hilarious for how much it backfired. I'm actually 38, but I never wear sunscreen. And I get from every person who tries to sell me moisturizer and ends up horrified at my lack of a regimen.
Well, now I have to admit, I figured, okay, clearly she's bringing this up because she's much older than she looks. So I added about 10 years. 'Cause I figured, okay, well, that's the trick here. She's really 30, she's really older, than she looks. So that's kind of where I was,
Yeah. No. A youthful spirit is actually what rejuvenates a person's energy field. And that's why you'll see, like, such as yourselves, I can tell age won't matter at a certain point because you could tell how, like, youthful they're not acting their age. What's acting their age?
Well, okay, so I'll turn around. How old do you think I am?
That's a great game.
Now we're going to do the 10. 52.
70.
Shoo.
Yeah, I just turned 70 a couple months, 6 weeks ago, something like that.
Wow.
Are we both going to shoot lasers at each other? Lasers of love?
Sounds good. I'm down for that. Thank you so much for being on the show. You're wonderful. And I look forward to meeting you in Sedona.
Yeah, likewise.
Are you going to be at the Conscious Life Expo?
No, I will. Yeah, I will be at another event.
Okay. Well, then we'll have to wait until mid-March to shoot those lasers, but I look forward to meeting you
I still look forward to meeting you too.
at the Sedona Ascension Retreat. Suzanne, anything you'd like to add or?
Oh, I just love this exchange. You guys are so much fun. Every time I've had Sarah on any kind of podcast, she has such a great sense of humor and she just laughs so easily. And I just love that about you, Sarah.
All right, well, we should tell people one more time. Her website, where you can find all things Sarah, is thealchemist.community. And there's a lot there. You can learn about her podcasts, her events. Really impressive, all the different programs you're doing with Gaia TV and your YouTube channel. So, and there she is. So we're looking forward to very, very much being with you in Sedona. And thank you. It's great to meet you, Sarah.
Yeah, great to meet you too.
Okay. Well, we are winding down. But Suzanne, I think it's important for us to tell people one more time because people might have come in a little bit later. You can get all the information about the Sedona Ascension Retreat by going to Sedona Ascension Retreats, plural, retreatsplural.com. And that's where you can learn all about what's happening. And definitely, take a look at the schedule, all the amazing presenters. It's remarkable, the presenters that she's got going. I mean, she really does have the best of the best. Danny Sheehan, Dear Lankan Bashar, Jimmy Church. I don't know this person, so I'll have to have her on my show next time because I don't even know how to pronounce her name.
Can we pause there for a second?
Yeah,
Because
please.
Yannicka Owenis, okay, I'm not sure that's the correct pronunciation of her last name. She lives in Norway, Scott, but oh my gosh, her podcast, Wisdom from North, literally gets millions of views.
Wow.
And I became addicted to it. Like, who's on next? Who's on next? And then who she would have on, I would recruit to come speak at my events. And so I just reached out to her and invited her to come to Sedona. And she said, yes, I would love to. And so many people are just dying to meet her because her podcast is so internationally renowned and so incredibly popular. She's one of the most popular podcasters on YouTube. And so I said, I'm going to fly you all the way from Norway to come to Sedona. She's going to host a show on Sunday night, a live Wisdom from North show with a guest panel of some of the presenters that are presenting at my event, who she's all interviewed already on her Wisdom from North podcast. She's just delightful. She's beautiful, delightful, humble, and she's really authentic in the way that she started her podcast because she sincerely had questions. She wanted answers. What is the meaning of life? Like, who are we? Where do we come from? And that really is what inspired her to start her YouTube channel long before it became so popular.
Well,
She's been
that's
doing it for
really,
many, many years. And
what a
she has never
fascinating.
lost that like innocence of
Yeah.
like just asking questions, like, tell me, I want to know. And so
Oh my
I'm very
gosh. Well,
excited to
I'm
have her.
glad that we talked about her. So, wow. And I'll put it in one more time. Here's the big poster where you can see everybody. It's remarkable who she's got lined up. Our beloved Omashar playing music throughout the weekend. So it's going to be a really very, very special weekend. So March 20th to the 22nd. And I really hope lots of people are in Sedona. What about lodging? Any suggestions for our out-of-towners?
Yes, sure. So because it's Sedona, it's an international tourist destination. There's over 100 hotels like in the near vicinity. So there's a wide spectrum of costs. So you can stay in Cottonwood, just 15 minutes from the venue, and pay maybe $100 a night. Or you can stay at the fancy resort hotel right next door for $400 a night. So if you're looking to save costs on lodging, look at Cottonwood. And if you don't really care that much, there's actually a hotel right next to the venue, the Courtyard Marriott, but it is $400 a night. Right down the street from that's a Hampton Inn that's only $200 a night. So, yeah, but those are the hotel choices. And of course, you can always look at Airbnbs. There is a ton of Airbnbs in Sedona. And also, if you have an RV, you can pull your RV. There's a few RV parks that you could stay in. So,
Do people need to book in advance for the RV parks? Do you know?
yeah, in fact, you need to book in advance for everything because it's high season in Sedona and they sell out. So you want to book in advance. We're lucky with the Sedona Performing Arts Center to be on the edge of West Sedona. So off of the 89A. So you don't really want to book off the 179 because it's the opposite end of town and it can be, gridlock to get to the other end of Sedona. So stay in West Sedona and you won't encounter much traffic.
Yeah, that's a really, knowing Sedona as I do, because I spent a lot of time there and I've been to your conference twice. Yes, she's in West Sedona. So when you're booking, West Sedona is the magic words, not Village of Oak Creek, which is wonderful. I love the Village of Oak Creek, but that's not where you want to be for her event.
Yes.
Suzanne, this was really fun. I'm looking forward to seeing you in 6 weeks.
Thank
Are you
you.
going to be at the Conscious Life Expo?
Yes, I am.
Well, then I'll see you there.
I'll see you there just
Looking
in a
forward
week.
to getting a hug from you.
Me too.
All right. Thanks, Suzanne.
Thank you.
These one, the 3 new guests, I didn't know each one of them was awesome. And I definitely want to have all of them on the show again for sure. So, all right. Thank you so much.
Mwah. Love to all.
Well, we're winding down, but a couple of quick announcements I want to make. So, of course, we all were so touched by these amazing monks that walked for peace, and we are the Global Peace Tribe. And my friend Ariana Gibbons is so inspired that she has put together an open call to communities all around the world for us to participate in our own ways in a global walk for peace on March 21st, 2026. And so wherever you live, whatever you're doing, I'll certainly see where I'm going to be, at that time. It's coming up. It'll be the same weekend, of course, as Suzanne's retreat. So maybe some of us can do a little bit of a walk for peace that day. But it's a beautiful thing. And this is how these events happen. So wherever you live, if you feel so inspired to organize a global walk for peace, that's a wonderful thing to do. And I'll send this flyer out to all of our subscribers in an email blast. So that's a pretty cool thing that's coming up. And then finally, I always like to let people know about our upcoming shows. And this Saturday night, it happens to be Valentine's evening. And so we've put together a really special show. Every show is special. Every show is wonderful. But this one's going to be quite unique. And I really invite you to spend Valentine's night with the Awakening World. Something I say often is that 20 years ago, we were all looking for our soulmate. And now we're all looking for our community. And the fact is, there's many communities. There's Suzanne's Sedona Ascension Retreat community. There's the Connection Field. There's Unity Earth. There's Soul Search. And I know that all of us are kind of bouncing around in between all these different communities that have wonderful offerings. And so on Saturday night, first of all, I'm really delighted that Kristen Hoffman will be with us live. She'll be co-hosting with me. And we're also going to meet another very important community, and that's the Holo Movement. And the founders of the Holo Movement, Laura Rose and Emmanuel Kunzelman, who also live in Sedona. I'm sure they know Suzanne and vice versa. They're going to be with us, along with their executive director, Mariko Pitts. And we're going to be talking about celebrating love through the form of global community. We're also going to have Liam and Heidi back on the show. Liam, of course, recently had a heart transplant, and they're going to represent, love through deep partnership, even when your partner is suffering from, almost dying and having a heart transplant. Of course, Omshar and Kristen will be providing music. And then our other guest, who's never been on the show before, is Scarlett Lewis. Most of you probably remember the Sandy Hook massacre. I think it was 20 or 21 elementary school children and a couple of teachers murdered by someone who was out there. Well, Scarlett's son was one of the victims, her 9-year-old son, and he actually helped get, I think, 8 or 9 children out of harm's way, went back in to get more, and in that process was when he was murdered. There's probably no greater tragedy in life than losing a child, and then losing a child in that way. Scarlett has created a foundation dedicated to the memory of her son. And we're going to learn all about that. And that's another form of profound love. So it's going to be a very, very special show. This would be a great show for you to invite new people to come to. Maybe people you know that are single, and then it's Valentine's Day and they're maybe feeling a little lonely or a little bit disconnected. Well, bring them into our show. It's going to be a wonderful, wonderful show. And I look forward to sharing it with all of you. So those are tonight's Global Peace Tribe announcements. And we are going to close the show the way that we began it, with our Alpha and Omega man, our beloved Omashar.
Do we have prayer time?
What's that?
Prayers.
Prayer time. Oh my God. Thank you so much. You know, he does this all the time. He saves me. Thank you so very much. I apologize. Desiree and Diara, it is prayer time. And I really, I'm embarrassed. Where's Desiree? There she is. How perfectly human.
We're always willing to be flexible. And like Sarah talked about, you come in and be with what's in the moment. And so Desiree and I, throughout the show, we're tracking and moving and grooving energetically. And then it comes time to come on and we're like, okay, what are we feeling? What's coming through? And so just allowing that beautiful flow, that synergistic flow that Sarah talked about. And then also blending the energies that Molly brought in, this confluence of astrological, astronomical energies. And again, having us have greater capacity to hold it all, to expand, to flow, to be strong and stalwart when that's called for as well. So just using our collective energy now to bolster our own divine source, our physical body, and using the flow that we've had tonight to galvanize our strength, while at the same time emanating more softness and gentility. So we're able to do it all and have it all, and in service to spirit, in service to love, in service to light. And so we offer these prayers of healing. We offer these prayers of love. We offer these prayers of gratitude.
Taking a big breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. Beloved ones that are here today, I see within your hearts. I feel the expansion of your mind. We let go of all that is not of peace. Your prayers are heard. Even the animals and the trees hear your prayers. We open the higher heart chakra. Expand that compassion. As we talked about earlier, that passion, that flame, expansion of that. Gratitude. Wow. Thank you.
A moment of silence now for us to put into the prayer field anything, any person, including yourself, anything that you want to pray for. Let's hold that space for a moment here. Tuning in to the dedication, the discipline of those amazing walking monks and their message And actually, I'm going to read the message that they had for us, which I have right here. Of course, those of you who participated heard this, but I just need to make it larger. So their prayer, their suggested prayer was, may I be free from resentment and conflict. May I be free from physical suffering. May I be free from mental suffering. May I be free from danger, and may my body be at peace. And I'll put that into the chat box for us. So, all right. Now we go to Omashar. And thank you so much, Desiree and Tiara. I love you both very, very much. And I'm so grateful for your every week presence and every twice a week show. Where's Omashar? There he is.
He's here. So, beloveds, what an amazing night we've had. We're so full, and yet we still have dinner to have. So this is an unplugged version you've heard of many times with a backing track, but I'm going to play it simply and gently so you can waltz to it if you like. Susan, waltzer.
Inside a soul, I am, the heart, I am the soul, it's in every one of us, the heart of us all, I am, it's the driving force of us, the way of the universe, radiant sunshine is why we're here. Heart streaming light into our atmosphere, where life is dear and love will free us all. Trees, I am the soil, I am, your heart, I am your soul, it's in every one of us, the heart of us all, I am, it's the driving force of us, the way of the universe, radiant sunrise is why we're here. Heart streaming light into our atmosphere, where life is dear and love will free us all. Of us all, I am, it's the driving force of us, the way of the universe, I am, radiant sunrise is why we're here. Heart streaming light into our atmosphere, where life is dear and love will free us. Oh.
Thank you, Omashar, for a beautiful song. Thank you, Desiree and Tiara, for your support. Thank you, Nikita, for blessing us with your presence. And I love that you played your I Am song on the night that we're honoring I Am mantra. I'm sure that was a very intentional choice on your part, Omashar.
Wasn't.
Oh, really?
No, because what happens before a show is like with Corinne, it's just like nothing's in there and I just accept what comes through. This is what's to be played tonight. I go, okay. And it 100% always matches up.
Wow, that's funny. That is, well, there you have it. Hey, I want to remind people one more time, please do support Nikita. I'm going to put her GoFundMe into the chat box one more time because she deserves it. And, you know, it's so important for us to support our Global Peace Tribe members in tonight's Nikita's night. Plus, it's her birthday week. So I did make a small donation, and I invite everybody else to please be generous. Whoops, I don't have myself on the spotlight. All right. Thank you, everybody. Have a beautiful, beautiful evening. Thank you, Suzanne. Thank you, Corrine. Thank you, Molly. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, William. What a great group of people. Oh, Karina is still with us. There she is. So thank you very much. And see you all soon. And hopefully see everybody on Saturday night for our special Valentine's night show. Take care, everybody, and good evening.